Hello, and welcome to Wyverns and Weirdos, A Journey Home. I am your Dungeon Master, Darby, and joining me as always are Zoe, playing 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧, Emily, playing Beatrice, Laura, playing Conrad, Mitch, playing Designation 42 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧, and Johanna, playing Fall. Let's jump into it. So, where we last left off, the party made a quick detour into the third level of the tomb, where they discovered an artifact that appeared to be the horn of some sort of unicorn-like rabbit creature, known as an 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧. And through some cleverness on the part of Conrad and 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧, they were able to navigate this tomb's puzzle, trap, whatever you want to call it, after noting that it took a significant bite, quite literally, out of Beatrice and Artis. So, what would folks like to do?
Well, I believe the last thing that happened was Beatrice is holding aloft an accursed object after barreling in
Yes.
willy-nilly, invisible, and getting stabbed by
right.
Conrad.
That is right.
Who assumed she was probably a ghost. So, for the record, 𝗖𝗦𝗧 is sitting at like the top of the stairs right below the darkness spell, probably doing a very similar face to Conrad, which is, what the fuck?
That would be correct.
And just looking, and out loud, she is going to be like, Beatrice? Why?
Well, I figure I'm already, voice in head. Why not just let me pick up all the cursed things and then I can deal with it? We only have to have one person go through all these.
Counter offer? We could just not touch things willy-nilly, like a band of scoundrels.
Beatrice sort of looks at 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 and Conrad, and then like sort of down at herself, and then looks back at 𝗖𝗦𝗧. Where did you get the idea that we weren't?
She just pulls a face.
As you're pulling that face, 𝗖𝗦𝗧, a voice in your head that speaks up and says, I think you should leave that silly little wand in here.
𝗖𝗦𝗧's eyes go very, very wide, because she did not realize she was accursed as well. And out loud, she goes, what the fuck?
𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 is far too unpredictable to trust.
Friends? Comrades? Associates? I I'm at my wits' end. What the fuck is going on? Do we need much else from this room?
I suppose Beatrice has grabbed the spoils of it, so I suppose after the hard work's been done, we might as well leave. Probably best to get out of here.
Yes, that is the correct answer. You do not need to stay here.
Otherwise, there is a hallway that Exley and I, 42 and I have also witnessed, though it has some substance there.
What sort of substance?
They're like spores, I believe, or something like that. I'm pretty sure Exley was like, mushies. But yeah, some sort of organic matter.
Yes.
But neither I nor 42 could identify.
So yeah, it is a sort of mold that smells of rotting corpses and occasionally releases clouds of harmless spores.
Cool. And Conrad kind of like, while he says that, kind of just like takes a moment to take his rapier and just like wipe it off along his pant leg of blood, I suppose.
Okay.
So, up? Or
I suppose up is probably best.
If I may propose a counteroffer. It appears that since we have entered this temple, our objective is to find the owner, and this temple has consistently been leading us down.
This is a good point.
it is.
The entrance from here was trapped. This room was trapped. Was clearly made to be entered from, he points to the doorway, from there. Otherwise it was not solvable, possibly. So clearly, going down is probably a good option. I have remembered the way.
That's good logic.
I can tell what steps to step on for no adverse conditions, possibly. Who can be sure if they haven't changed by now?
If it gets us to the end faster, it is something. So we may as well forge ahead.
Before we do so, if I may, there has been talk of voices in people's heads. Is everyone okay?
Not particularly. Beatrice?
Oh, I'm just great, being bitten alive by bugs and voices, and admittedly the stabby wasn't Conrad's fault, but the stabbing hurt. We constantly seem to be running into things. We're all having a great time.
Yes, it does seem like a series of pointless trials. Personally, I do not have any strange voices in my head.
It's good.
Do we need to rest then somewhere before we forge onwards? I will, of course, make no comment on voices in head. Clearly, others have already made assumption. It is just interesting to see what's happening now. But if others require rest, then we shall rest somewhere.
This room has been cleared of traps, so there is potential that we can take an albeit short rest here.
Yes, certainly I can try to do a bit of healing on you, Beatrice.
That would be appreciated.
Well, probably best off. First, we should test something. Everyone get up to near the stairs, if you wish, anyway.
Okay.
Certainly.
Actually, we'll do as asked.
Conrad lifts the heel of his boot and then steps down on one of the non-pattern tiles.
So it would seem that having gone through the effort of doing things properly, the trap is not activated.
He tests it, then he steps around a bit. He's like, all right, clear.
All right.
That's a relief.
Wonderful.
As theorized, room is safe, so if rest is required, we can rest here. There is only entrance from above and from side.
Okay.
Beatrice sort of sits and slumps against the sarcophagus.
Okay. And so you take a short rest. So if anyone wants to use hit dice to heal, as well as if people want to cast healing spells, benefit from any bonuses that they get on short rests. I think, Sevia, you've already used your arcane recovery today, haven't you?
I have.
Yes. So that's 24.
Paul kind of like make like a little like hand like healing hands like to Beatrice.
You're like, healing now?
Oh, yes, appreciated.
Okay, then I'll give it a go. And after a moment, she feels rejuvenated. That was 16 HP. It's recovered.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I think I'm getting the hang of that.
Yes. You definitely seem to be getting better.
Glad to hear it.
Exley would have started walking over to Beatrice, but then seeing Fall do that, will begrudgingly extend an offer of healing to Artis.
Okay. He will accept it.
Full makes eye contact with Exley like too slow.
So what level of healing are you casting on Artis?
My last second level spell.
Okay.
That is a good roll. That is why have I wasted this on him? That is of a possible 19 hit points. That is 18 that he recovers.
Wow. Okay, so yeah, he's actually, between that and the hit dice he spent, he's not back to full, but he's reasonably close. He's on 71 of 82. So pretty solid. All right. I think Paul's the only one who's currently below maximum hit points. If you wanted to use a hit dice to recover that. Probably
My
not.
single hit point.
Yeah, like it's up
I don't know if
up
it's
to
worth
you whether you want to do it or not. It's definitely not worth a spell slot, but if you wanted to burn a hit dice,
No.
you would probably be getting that back. You've probably only got about a couple of hours before, like an hour, maybe two at most, before you'd have to be kind of starting to rest without kind of pushing yourselves towards the point of exhaustion. Yeah.
I guess I'll use the hit die. Yeah.
Paul
I
doesn't
just
have
used
any
it
of.
to hit dice.
Okay. How many hit points are you on?
I'm back up to 87.
87. Nice.
Yes, I had to use a few plus
Oh.
the healing.
Oof.
There's none of Exley's good berries still floating around in people's pockets, are there? They would have probably
Did you cast that today?
expired by now. I can't remember if it was today or the day before.
I think it was the day before.
Fair enough.
I think it was before we got to the tomb.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
you were
that'd be-
very
yeah.
keen to get into the tomb to escape the giant scary metal man this morning.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. So you take your short rest. It passes more or less without incident. Unless there's anything that folks want to cover during that short rest. But Exley, you notice every now and again a little tiny eye stalk pop up from within the strange mold in the room. And it'll be a different patch of mold each time. But every now and again, just a little, it's like a little stalk with an eye on the end of it. It'll be there for a few moments before disappearing again.
Exley will watch for a small period of time trying to figure out what this thing might be. Whether it is part of the mold or it is just utilizing the mold. Before just addressing the group in general. Not loudly, but just whoever is in his proximity. We are being watched.
Where? By what?
There is something in the mold, in the walls.
In the mold.
Bon.
I do not know what this creature might be.
Does it look dangerous? I suppose everything in here is. Easy to dispatch is probably a better question.
It has not attacked us yet. So it may be have a small reach.
Possibly. Well, I'll have to investigate further then.
For reference, I have just put the spiral horn in your inventory too, Beatrice.
Conrad is going to step over to go and have a look down the hallway.
Okay.
Sevia will too.
Yeah, so...
Warily
yeah.
behind Conrad with her
Yes.
hands up.
You notice as you pass through that, like, yeah, there's mold here as well, and as you walk, the eyes almost start popping up to kind of keep track of you.
Not attacking yet. Perhaps just curious. Good spotting, 42.
Thank you. Has Exley seen creatures similar to this before? Or is there a particular creature that is similar in appearance to something like this?
Roll me an Arcana check. The DC is going to be pretty high considering Exley's limited
Yeah.
life experience.
No.
Okay.
I was going to ask the same thing of Sevia.
Yes, Sevia can also roll me an Arcana check.
Yeah. Blue dice. Cocked. 11. So that is a 24.
God, it's that leveling cleric. Just Sevia knows things. Yeah, these very strongly resemble the eye stalks of a creature known as a beholder. They are often xenophobic, megalomaniacal, insane, floating eyeballs with many eye stalks. They generally have a mean streak that is fueled by a sense of superiority.
What is the creature known as? Sorry?
A beholder.
Beholder in the walls, huh? So Sevia's like looking at these eye stalks. She sees them, she's like, huh, that looks familiar. Then think. It's like, I've through this one book. Oh, it reminds me of that book. Eventually, to like, it doesn't matter how close they are to the mold, she gestures at them and take a step back.
Okay.
We do so? Or Exley does?
Alright.
Yeah, Conrad does.
So do you describe what a beholder is to the party?
So Sevia would have gestured to them to take a step back, and then have either of you heard of a beholder before?
Well, I mean, I've heard it like as part of a, a metaphor sort of thing, like a saying, but I don't see how it's relevant here. Beauty is in the eye of a beholder? I don't know. It never made much sense to me, personally. What is this? How is this relevant?
Well,
Explain.
see, those eye stalks are, in fact, the many eyes of a very real, non-metaphorical beholder, who are quite large, scary creatures with mean streaks.
Perhaps going up a level wasn't such a bad idea after all.
Conrad,
Yeah.
So the description of the beholder, scary thing with eyes. It occurs to you that a couple of those gems in the pouch that you picked up were somewhat eyeball-like, almost inscribed or.
I feel like you
indented.
gave Exley the bag of them. I can't remember. If that is the case, I don't know if you can remember it. If so, he's like, strange. Many eyes. Interesting. Similar to gemstones that were found. I do not know what that means. Did they have gems for eyes? Or do they like eyes?
Do they like eyes, Darby? Sevia knows all, but it's Zoe.
Whether or not
Zoe
they
knows
like
pictures.
eyes, who knows? They are known for having a lot of eyes.
Well, see, I don't know if they have a particular preference for eyes. I do not believe their eyes are normally gemstones. Unless, if you have gemstones shaped of eyes, if they belong to this beholder, they would be prosthetics.
So perhaps does not have all eyes. I don't know. Just a strange correlation.
So I've just put those in your inventory. The items in that bag, Conrad.
Are the eye stalks popping out of the mold like on the floor or like from the walls?
From the mold.
Just in general.
Yeah.
What I don't understand is normally beholders are creatures. They're a solid shape. How are the eyes coming from all of these places? Unless their stalks are long like snakes, or there's multiple. She takes another step back and gestures for the other two to do the same.
I guess Fool is probably like nearish by, and he'll just say, if they've, like, the eyes that seem to be watching us, do you think if beholders are so aggressive, are they going to attack, or why are they biding their time?
Are beholders aggressive, Darby?
Not necessarily. They are maniacal, they are selfish. They're not necessarily going to be inherently aggressive. They are ferocious if you give them a reason to be.
I believe beholders, much like many animals in the wild, will only attack once provoked. This one, or ones, appear to be sussing us out, grading us on whether or not we are any kind of threat before we pose it. We could potentially move past them by way of either negotiation or careful footsteps, or we can go in the opposite direction. Otherwise, it may lead to a fight.
I see.
This is, everyone can hear it.
Fool does his usual, or like what he used to do in the past, of going into like a really like I don't know, like submissive kind of sense, like, ooh, I am much weak. Just be like, and just like mouth at the beholder's not a threat.
Roll me a deception check.
Fair. Oh, it's nearly a nat 20. That's a 13.
Noted.
Okay.
How many exits are in that room?
The room that you were just in?
Yeah, the room with all the eyes and the mold.
Like
Like if we were looking at continuing, is there one direction or a couple?
So the room itself, there's... Is that a... There are... I believe it's only the one. I'm pretty sure that indent to the south is not a door. So it's just to the west. But there is, like, if you were to continue down this west passage, like, there is a doorway that you can probably see from where you and Conrad are, just a little below. And then the path goes down further as well.
Okay. Exley would have sort of been pondering for a while, And then we'll turn to the group. Should we perhaps attempt to converse with this creature? To request safe passage?
It is worth trying. Otherwise, we can negotiate a different way.
There is still the option of upstairs.
But if this is the most direct route to what we want, it is worth it to negotiate.
Very well. Who is skilled at speaking with beholders?
You know what language they speak, Sylvia?
Again.
You think that? No.
Darby!
So,
This is going well.
yeah.
Hello.
So they typically are known to speak deep speech and undercommon.
Well- Beholders generally cannot speak common. From what I remember, it is either deep speech or undercommon. So if any of us can speak that.
Oh, undercommon.
You know undercommon?
Yes, I know many languages.
Oh,
I'm good at
Well-
learning them.
that's a wonderful skill to have.
It is. It's good to make your point clear if you can negotiate in their own language. So a creature like that speaks undercommon. Strange.
Yes, well,
And Conrad will like turn and look over there and in undercommon say, "You there?"
You get no response.
I am speaking. Where do you lurk? What are you?
Still no response.
He turns around and in common it says, "It is not responding."
did you try giving it a pleasant greeting?
Why?
Well, that's the routine of conversations, is it not?
Depends on your definition of pleasant.
Well, I don't know.
He kind of like makes a face and then like steps properly into the hallway. And then is like, "Hail, salutations, I am Conrad. You are something that is lurking in the walls. May we speak?"
There is no response.
"Hello?"
There's no response, like the eyes don't wiggle or anything?
Nope.
Maybe it's deaf?
Well, that's annoying.
There is, of course, the possibility that because only the eyes are extending past the mold, that you must speak directly into the wall.
Oh. Alright. And Crow will like look like inspect the like the hall, like the entrance little hallway that we're at.
Okay.
Nothing, I don't see anything.
Nope.
Alright. He will press his head up against the wall. And then go, "Can you hear?"
No response.
Alright, this is getting annoying. Next time I see an eyeball, I am going to cut it. I'm just going to then Conrad then he'll just start to stride down the hallway.
Okay. Upon you saying Upon you saying about the cutting an eyeball, one pops up, and what is this? Yeah, you can handle this. For now, yeah, I'll just go the average. And a beam of green energy spurts forth from the eye stalk. Can I get you to roll me a dexterity saving throw?
So 13.
13. That unfortunately is not enough. You don't have a
I'm not surprised. I rolled a 3.
I think, does this, can you
Did I slip on some mold?
No. In trying to get out of the way, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works. That works. Where is the thing of like, isn't there something? Uncanny dodge. It's when it hits you with an attack. Yeah. So you take 55 points of necrotic damage.
Shit, what does that look like then?
Yeah, like just a green beam.
So I think you
How
still.
does it affect Conrad?
I think you still. Did you still have your temporary hit points?
Yes. I don't know. I can't remember when we got them. But
Yeah.
with my temporary hit points, if we still do have them, otherwise I can take 10 more off if you like.
I'm gonna assume that you do at this stage. So.
Okay.
But yeah. Yeah, so there's kind of the veins in like Conrad's neck and face, and probably elsewhere too, you just can't see it, kind of pulse momentarily, this kind of sickly black green, before going back to rest, and Conrad's appearance resumes normalcy, I guess, but he is looking a lot more worn down and worse for wear for it.
Yeah, so he kind of like just like gets hit by that beam, trying to like dodge away, I guess, and then just kind of like probably just fall, like just plops down on the ground, lands on his ass, I guess, and then like he will just let out this like long gasp of air, and then kind of crouch down and look in the direction where that eyeball was. But his like entire body would like shudder through that whole spell thing. But he doesn't say anything, he's very quiet.
Conrad!
Exley's going to fairly quickly walk up to where Conrad is, and sort of grab him underneath an arm and kind of start to pull him back. And in hearing that some form of threat was thrown in common and there was a reaction, Exley will shout out into the void, "We apologize for the intrusion. We will be leaving," and will pull Conrad back and around the corner.
Okay.
Excellent. I get dragged. Connor doesn't say anything, he's quite shell-shocked, I suppose.
As soon as Conrad's like out of the hallway, Sevie is gonna run over and kind of flapping, and is just gonna try to gently like put both hands on an arm and do a second level cure wounds, which I believe is 2d8.
Yes, 2d8 plus your wisdom modifier.
So that's 2d8 plus 2, so Conrad gets 12 points of healing.
Okay.
Thank you. What was that? Did you see what it did?
Yes, that bad thing.
That was not good. Oh,
Like, quite the blow. Yeah, have some more healing.
So, upstairs, I take it.
It seems that way.
Alright. So, I guess you all venture back upstairs as Fall administers some additional healing to Conrad.
Stevia gives Artis and Beatrice like a look, like,
That's a
can we
good
have
roll.
1
12
minute?
HP.
How much was it? 12?
12, yeah.
Okay.
Aw, healing besties.
There doesn't, in the room that we're currently in, there doesn't appear to be any sort of shifting in the mold, does there?
No.
So it doesn't appear to be moving in any way.
No.
All right.
Just shows up here, like an eye stalk just pops out every now and again.
Excellent. Well, if we're all intent on boogieing fairly quickly, then Exley will assist Conrad in getting up the stairs. But
Okay.
try and make it so that he doesn't seem like he's assisting.
Alright.
You appreciate that.
Beatrice
Very
will
quiet.
wait till last to leave. Make sure everybody else gets up and out first.
Okay. I will move everyone.
Yeah, Fall's kind of keeping an eye on Conrad, following him.
I will move everyone back to the level 2 map.
Yeah. Sevia is also following, but she is not hiding the fact that she is worried about Conrad. She's just kind of wringing her hands. Like,
I imagine Fall and Saber probably like shooting each other looks like, oh my gosh.
And he's just very quiet.
Alright.
Well, just like quite big-eyed at this point, but yeah, he will just be assisted.
Okay. So, returning to the second floor, what would people like to do?
Well, as Exley gets to the top of the weird steps made of ice, with Conrad, he's just sort of going to lead him over to a quiet corner, and just ask, "Are you okay?"
I don't know. That hurt a lot, but that didn't. But at the same time, it's sort of like, I suppose you wouldn't know, but sort of like when you're nearly about to drown and all the air is forced out of your lungs. Not sure what it'll be like for you. Have you ever come close to death? Not that I did then, but it was a strange feeling.
Strange.
Yes.
I suppose all feeling is different.
I suppose so. You've said you struggle with feelings of some kinds. But then I do too, so.
If you would prefer, until we are able to get some form of long-term rest in, I can lead.
Corin inclines his head. He tilts his head to the side, like he has done quite a lot, which is mimicking Exley. And he looks up for her, like, what inspires you to ask such a question? I am not turning this question down. I am just curious.
You are skilled with your ability to create direction. However, if you are in front in My apologies. Your current state. You may die, and that would not be beneficial.
No. This is true. Perhaps we should put Artis at the front, but then I wouldn't trust him to make a good decision. And I would trust you to make a calculated decision. So I think this is good choice. And I do appreciate it. Are you thinking of making another prime? At some point?
I am unsure. This one, and he pats a small bulge under his cloak, was useful. However, was very slow. Modifications may need to be made.
Yes. Some faster legs.
Indeed.
Always a process of refining things. I was never much of a builder or anything like that, but refining technique is always a constant process.
Of course. I shall think on it.
Yes, precisely. 'Tis a good point. And if some of our fair companions may fall, then you will have plenty to refine further construction with.
Indeed.
I do appreciate it. I will defer to your decision for now.
Of course.
But I am temporarily rattled. I will not hide that. Or not from you, because you will see things plainly, whereas the others may have other feelings in regards to that. But I will always be ready to offer what skills I can. And when I have good size of enemy, I am quite good at killing it. So when it's not a hiding in fungus, that is. Just to be clear.
Of course.
But, well, I shall defer to your action, temporary leader. Exley.
Exley will nod his head and go to stand and inspect the hallway. And after a brief moment of looking down it, making sure there's no enemies. There aren't any enemies, are there?
No.
Okay. He will say, perhaps it would be wise to continue.
So which path, as a group, do you intend to take? The western corridor or the door to the south? Or revisit the... Or, no, eastern corridor, rather. Or you can revisit the western chain of rooms.
And the western chain of rooms, that was the one past the well, wasn't it?
Yes, the scrying well.
There was a skeleton who came out of the east one? Was there, or was that a different floor?
I mean, it was running around at different places.
And is there any way of getting down to a lower level from here that doesn't involve...
Yeah, you can continue down this staircase. This is a multi-level staircase that you're on.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Exley will sort of look down the staircase a little bit further and turn back to the rest of the party and say, there are two options. We can attempt to explore this level further, potentially finding more items with voices. Or we can continue down and find a path away from the beholder.
I think Phillips kind of looks to Conrad and then to Sevia to see if they will make a decision.
Sevia would also first look at Conrad, probably for a different reason than Fall is, and she's also going to look at Beatrice. And she'll look back at Exley and say, I will defer to the group. I would prefer to choose an option that gets us somewhere where we may take a night's rest the fastest. We're running low. We've been going on all day with only short rests to tide us over. It is time soon for us to sleep, I think.
Perhaps we stay on this level and attempt to find another room.
Fair, as long as there are no more beholders. Any room we come across should be easy to clear, I can assume.
This sounds good. Good idea, Zenny.
So down the eastern corridor then. Have a look around. Duh?
We shall investigate.
Hmm.
And Exley will lead the group down the eastern corridor.
Yay.
Sevia will flutter around Conrad as if trying to assess whether he'll let her help him up.
He'll just kind of like, even if like Stevie's literally hovering over him, like Carl will just like completely like ignore her and then just like stand up and kind of like push his shoulders out and puff himself up a bit and like, right.
Okay.
Well, better get on with it then.
So, as you go down that path, a four-way intersection, the corridors to the north and south curve upward and out of sight, but with no rails or steps to allow them to be climbed. The corpse of a half-human, half-goat creature in robes sprawls 10 feet to the north. It grips a staff tipped with a bronze goat's head.
Was there a goat-like creature in the of the 9 creatures that we were looking at?
There was not.
Curious. There is a body ahead.
What is it?
Exley hasn't seen a creature like this before, has he?
No.
Has Sevia?
No. Though notably, the robes that the creature wears very much indicates them as probably some sort of mage.
I guess that as we're walking along, Sevia does her normal dead body freeze up thing, but she does kind of tilt her head to the side and kind of says, I know not what creature it could be, but it does appear to be a mage. or was a mage.
Yes. Is that stuff another weird cursed object thing? It doesn't really seem to have the same kind of setup as the other ones.
Well, I'm certainly not touching it to check.
Ugh.
Or likely just a weapon. Regular. But if people want, I will go and have a look.
So you touch the
Yeah.
staff?
She doesn't. She's gonna she's gonna loot the body first.
Okay. So you find upon the body, the only things of value are a spell book and an ink pot. But the ink pot appears to have, I'll say it has a label on it to explain it. It is a never-ending inkwell.
Okay. And Beatrice is going to look very closely at the spear.
So the staff.
Staff.
Yeah, so it is, yeah, it's a solid quarterstaff made out of wood as hard as stone with gems inlaid at intervals along its length, and the gold head of a goat at the top of it.
Beatrice reaches out and touches it.
Nothing happens.
So she picks it up and says, well, it's stuff.
Oh, that's something. There is also a journal on him as well. That I forgot about.
Pick up.
Yes.
So Beatrice sort of comes back to the group, clutching, the books and the inkwell and then the staff. Bouncing.
Okay.
Sevia's hands were out as if she had made to grab Beatrice and stop her from running off. But then she just
Fulla's definitely,
puts her hands down.
Fulla's definitely watching Beatrice to see, is like, is there anything weird going to happen?
And something interesting for you, Sevia. There's a spell book here in the pot. It's got a label on it that says never-ending ink. I don't know what that means, but you like ink and you like spell books. So I have those for you.
Thank you? That's okay. I will look at those a bit later on once we found a place to rest.
Okay.
Beatrice keeps a hold of the journal herself, though.
Okay.
Of the skeleton, was there any indication on how it might have died? Like a direction that it was facing?
Roll me a medicine check. Beatrice, while he's doing that, you do note there is a note with the journal. I'm going to share that, and I'm going to read it because there are going to be some amendments for the Eberron setting. So, to those who find this, know that I, Devlin Bashir, am the last surviving member of the Wayfinder Foundation sent here. The Lord of Blades stripped us of our weapons and threw us in here on orders of his mistress, ally, who's to say? I can only imagine our souls are to be fed to the phylactery. Alas, it seems 𝗖𝗓𝗦 has won. Our company was separated after the incident with the four-armed gargoyle. The Tomb Guardians tore Sigurd to pieces, and with him we lost the Starfallen. Our quest was a failure. Even if we'd found the eye, the elf princess was gone. My friends wouldn't have lasted long without their weapons, especially with a doppelganger in our midst, as Seth suspected. Of course, I kept my staff. I'm sure Brixton would have seen some humour in that. Gentle reader, let a dying man offer you one piece of advice. Lady 𝗖𝗓𝗦 is a trickster who desires nothing but your soul. Her riddles may help you, but in the end, her final secret always leads to your doom. Gods save us all. What was your medicine check result, actually?
I got a natural 20.
Natural 20. So there is there's no single there doesn't appear to be any single wound that necessarily signifies itself as the killing blow. Almost as if whoever this was essentially sustained multiple injuries and was worn down just by the sheer effort of trying to survive the tomb alone at this point. Yeah, so he is covered in cuts, bruises. There are holes pierced into him from various traps and weapons.
Is this a corpse? I thought you said it was a skeleton.
Did I? Is it a? What is it? The corpse? Corpse of a half human, half goat creature.
Because Sevia had her little dead body moment too.
Oh, yeah, but I thought it was still just a skeleton. Oh,
Goodness,
ew.
so
Yeah,
how
no.
recent does it look?
Yeah.
I would say probably
20 minutes ago.
no, not
See,
that
Axel would be.
recent.
This is why Axel got a nat 20 because he's a pro with dead
Yeah.
things.
Probably within the week.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
It'd be pretty nasty.
Smelly.
okay. Yeah, actually will relay this to the group. That it is apparently a fairly recent death.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Not surprising. I wonder why it was here. There appear to be many that are inhabiting this tomb. For one reason or another. We're not the only ones.
The note that's with the journal, is it like bound on top of the journal or is it inside the journal?
It's sticking up out of like the front cover, almost like a bookmark.
So Beatrice, whilst Exley is sort of examining how the body died, Beatrice would have read the note.
Okay. Yeah.
Out loud? Or...
She may, she would have started reading it to herself and then would have sort of gone, oh, I think that you might need to listen to this. Sort of probably around the time that Conrad and Exley's conversation is going on is when she'll start reading it aloud. and impart all the knowledge from
Yeah.
that little note.
All right.
Well, that answers your question, Conrad.
Yes. Interesting. So the lady has many allies. This makes sense, given what I spied through the doors.
I knew that blade dude was trouble.
That was the other metal man you two saw, yes?
Yes, he called himself the Lord of Blades.
In allyship with person residing here. This would make sense. Unfortunately, we only find information about people, but not a clear course of action beyond delving in further into the tomb.
Yes, it's as if this tomb is designed to take you directly to the epicenter.
Much like Strahd's castle.
Perhaps we invite the lady to dinner.
This would be a good idea. It would make it faster.
'Tis certainly a thought of a sort.
What would we wear? What would we do? How? Food? What?
I believe it was half a joke.
I do not believe the lady of this temple would have any way of interacting with us at our current moment.
Okay. So Fall turns to Artisan Dragonbait and they say, does any of this note mean anything more to you two than it does to us? I mean, you have a bit more knowledge about this world, I assume.
Not by much. I mean, I recognize vaguely the name of the company, but it's just an adventuring guild.
I see.
Those
You
kinds of
know,
folks explore the Borderlands all the time.
Right. So they're looking for is that kind of treasure or something? The riddles might be the most important part about this. Although all that does is make you a little bit more paranoid.
Yes, it seems like every step we take in this place acts as if it means to clarify and instead makes things more muddy.
Yes. This place just seems to like making a mockery of us all, I feel.
We should press on, mayhaps, and not have this conversation where we can continue to smell that corpse.
Yes, I quite agree on that one.
You can see ahead of you, all of you from where you are, the just within the edge of your vision, the sight of another sarcophagus in the room ahead.
Perhaps we investigate that room, deal with any traps, and hopefully find some form of respite.
It is a good idea. I agree with 42.
We've already investigated all of the other ones. Why not this one?
All right. So you follow through into that room.
Exley goes first.
Full keeps the distance from
Okay.
me.
So, Conrad, when you walk into this room, you
Follows. behind Conrad.
absolutely love the smell in here, because this room smells of wine.
Stevia is somewhere in the mix.
All right. So this room smells of wine, and on a checkerboard marble floor, a gilded coffin sparkles in sunlight streaming down from the chamber's vaulted ceiling, which arches 12 feet overhead. 4 huge stone gargoyle heads, their mouths agape, protrude from the walls.
Hey, wasn't the many-headed gargoyle mentioned in that letter?
4-armed
Oh.
gargoyle.
Oh, okay, but still.
Conrad looks delighted at the shape of the chessboard pattern of the floor.
What
Well,
is it?
Beatrice would just sort of lean around Conrad and go, well, this is a lot nicer than a lot of the other rooms.
Well, they're surely just as dangerous.
Oh, without a doubt, the most beautiful things are often the most dangerous.
Hmm.
What can we tell from these gargoyles?
Roll me an investigation check.
A 12.
A 12. There is an opening mechanism on them, like around the mouth.
These are potentially a trigger for some form of trap. Or at least the action of a trigger.
Good notice. Is there anything of note about the floor? Apart from the fact it's just a little checkerboard pattern.
Yeah,
No?
checkerboard pattern. There are 4 pillars in the room holding the ceiling as like a structural support.
Kind of just stand there, like calculating what the like if something would come out of the gargoyles' mouths, where they would particularly hit, and which would be the safest position in the room to avoid them. So he's just standing there looking very intently at everything.
And what would trigger it, of course, as well.
That's also what he's pondering.
So, what are people doing?
Well, if Conrad's investigating how safe the room is, Stevie is not moving until Conrad says whether or not we can go in without something happening.
Okay. Conrad, roll me an investigation check.
Or if he can work out...
If you're looking around.
Yeah, I said he was.
Yep.
He was trying to look at that.
Yep.
So can I roll something for that?
Yeah, investigation check.
Okay. It's a 14.
14. I mean, you search high and low, but there doesn't seem to be anything that could trigger a trap. So unless it's in the
He turns and just looks
unless
at the
it's-
coffin.
Unless it's inside the sarcophagus,
Yeah.
this might actually be a safe place to rest.
Clear for now. Unless circumstances change. It is difficult to know if things are triggered by time of day, given how dark it is everywhere. But this may be place to rest, if required. Must just be on guard if thing comes out of coffin.
Well, if we do rest here, then we post 2 people as guards at a time to take
Of
watch.
course.
What do you...
Is that what you think is most wise, 42?
I am curious as to whether we simply attempt to not interact with the sarcophagus and take a rest, or if we attempt to forcibly activate the trap in a controlled environment to ensure the room is safe.
This is good point.
Either way, if we are taking a rest, we should be posting a watch.
Yes, to make sure nothing comes out of coffin or tries to get in.
Yes, and if we do a controlled experiment and open the sarcophagus, at least as long as no one looks at Beatrice, touches anything, we should not risk any more injury.
Beatrice pointedly ignores Sevia.
Well, we have room. If people wish to rest, we should rest. Make provision. I need to refill my lantern. We snuff it for a while, start a fire. Might be good.
Yes, that'd be nice.
All right. So,
We walk into the room.
Yeah. and on that note, as you prepare for a night's rest, we're going to leave it there for this episode.
Okay.
See you next week.
See you next
Yeah.
time.
See you next week,
listening.
everyone.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. Goodbye.